Hey, welcome back to the Talking to Teen show. And today we are going to talk about lusts. I actually think this word has lost a lot of, I won't say credibility, but I will say terminology. And um, not even just terminology, but I really think this word, lust, has actually just been accepted, has found its way into being an acceptable act, acceptable behavior, that it's not any big deal because that's just what people do. And really, that word is not even like a a word anymore. Like if people hear that word, lust, like they don't even like it's not even anything that's like, what are you talking about? Lust, what is that? Well, hey, I'm glad you asked because the dictionary actually just says that lust is a very strong desire for something or a very strong sexual desire for someone. I think sometimes people think like if they're not being lusted after, they think there's something wrong with them, that they like people lusting after them. But see, it's not that word that they're using. They're more so thinking it's like, well, that means they really like me. If they're like, ooh, hoo, ooh la la, look at them, and really just checking them out like all of the time. So when girls, you're talking to guys and they're just talking to you, but you know what? They're not looking at your eyeballs, they're looking at your finer qualities. And you're like, excuse me, those are not my eyes. I cannot see you from those things right there that you are staring at, and they keep just drawing their eye. That's lust, okay? And when a girl is even talking to a guy, and you know what? She's looking at his um man parts, even maybe from the distance, that is lust. And I have to say, ew. All right, that's kind of like ew. That's what I'm thinking. Because when you are just looking at that and you're like lusting and you have such lustful desires, yeah, that's definitely going to lead you into a sexual relationship, okay? Whether with that person or just with someone else, because that's where your mind is on a regular basis. And of course, too, if you are constantly looking at inappropriate things on your phone because it can be a porn hub for you, and not just you as a teenager, right? This is anybody. So this isn't just teens that have a lustful situation or desire, but if you don't do something about it now when you're young, so if you're hearing this and you're thinking, wow, okay, I didn't actually know that I had lust, or that maybe I might have a problem with it because I'm always constantly thinking and looking at people that way, looking at girls that way, looking at guys that way, and always in a sexual way. And it doesn't mean that you've had sex with that person or that you've even had sex, but it doesn't mean that the desire isn't there for it. And when you don't stop your mind from just constantly looking that way, looking at even images, whether it's on your phone or in a movie or listening to certain music that is constantly very explicit, and you're just putting that in you, and you're looking at it, you're watching it, and you think, well, it's not that big of a deal. Or even that it's, well, people talk like that really inappropriate all the time and it's not that big of a deal. Well, it should be, okay? And it should become a big deal. And if you are the one talking that way and thinking in terms like that, you need to like put the brakes on and be like, maybe there's some truth to what Shawna is saying. And maybe I should think about what I'm thinking about and do something about it. So, and I'm going to kind of get into that in just a little bit, okay? What to really do about it. So keep listening. So you're going to hear what to do about it. But right now, I'm still just going to talk about kind of what lust is. All right. So here's a little example, and this is of people who. Okay, I don't know if you've seen this commercial, which I'm sure you have not because it's an old commercial. Anyway, it was a commercial, and these group of ladies, they're sitting outside like at a cafe, and they're outside and they're just hanging out and talking, and then this guy comes up, and he had has been running. So he's like, whew, kind of tired, and he's sweaty and he's hot, and because he's been like working out, running, and he stops there to kind of like maybe pause and like catch his breath a little bit. And um, the ladies are like, wow, look at him. Check out that guy. Oh, yeah. He looks pretty fine. I'd like to have some of that candy. And then the guy glances over there and he says, oh, hey, hi, Mrs. Smith. And she's like, what? Oh my gosh. She's like, hey, how's Johnny, her son? So instantly she's like, oh my gosh, that's my son's friend. Oh, yeah, he's pretty good. And he's like this nice guy. Hey, well, it's good to see you. And make sure you tell him I said hi. So she's like, okay, I sure will. And then she's like, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Yeah, exactly. How embarrassing. Because she was lusting after this young guy that was the same age as her son. So it's not just a teenage thing. And I've also known women who have totally been lusting after the guys in the Olympics, and their favorite time of watching the Olympics was the swimming. Hey, I like the swimming too, okay? But not for the same reasons that they were liking the swimming. And they were like, my favorite time is when those guys are in their swimming trunks, their Speedos. I'm like, ew, oh my gosh, what are they, 19? Some of them? Like, these were grown Christian women. So this was not like someone in their early 20s. These were married Christian women and older than me. So that's really old, really, really old. But I just was like, oh, wow. Okay. Okay. And you know what? Some of those women had teenage sons too. So, all right. Do they want someone looking at their son that way? I have to tell you, they sure don't, because one of them had one of her sons was dating somebody, and the girl was older than him, and she was pursuing her son who was younger. She did not like that. Well, what's the difference? That girl was lusting after her son, and she did not like it. But it was okay for her to lust after someone else's son, even though it's on TV, and the moms did not know that. But really, what's the difference? Because God knows, doesn't he? God sees her. God sees us. He sees all of us. So, especially if you're claiming to be this Christian person, my really thoughts on that is, who cares that you say that you are a Christian? Because that's really, to me, not the same as a Christ follower, as someone who lives for the Lord, because people that actually live and say this Christian thing, um, you know what? A lot of them live the same life as the non-Christian person, don't they? They lust just as much. Now, I'm not saying that we all don't have things within ourselves that we need to work on or get rid of, because we all do. No one is perfect except for Jesus, and we are not Jesus, but we are to strive to be more like Jesus. So when we get saved, the old person of us leaves and we are renewed in the new self in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So when we say that we are Christians, what does that even mean when people actually know that? Well, yeah, they go to church, and they might go to church twice a week. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But what is your life like? What are the things that are coming out of your mouth? So when you see a hot girl, are you like, oh, yeah, look at her? And you're going right along with the things that other guys are saying about her. Oh, yeah, that they'd like to have some of that, right? And maybe you'd all like to have it together. Ew, that's gross. And girls, what are you saying about the guys? And what are you receiving? Are you liking it when they say things to you? So if you and your girlfriends walking down somewhere, maybe you are at the store, you are outside, you're at a game, whether it's inside, outside, you are maybe at a meet, track meet, that you're participating in it. And, there's lots of schools that are in those track meets. There's lots of other teenagers. If you go to a game and everybody's seeing everybody, and you are looking out for someone, aren't you? Yes, you are. Whether they see you looking at them or not, because hey, that's normal. Okay. It's normal for you to be attracted to the opposite sex. It's normal for you to be looking at other people, but it shouldn't be to the degree of like, ooh, hoo, hoo, yeah, checking them out in a sexual manner, thinking that, yeah, I'd like to have some of that to bring it on over. So, girls, when guys are talking that way, and even more things that I'm definitely not going to be saying because it's nasty and you should be thinking it's nasty, please do not turn around. All right. You need to keep walking because I've had lots of girls say this to me. Well, I just wanted to see what he wanted. Oh, you already know what he wants. Oh, yeah. You know what he wants. And if you don't, I'm letting you know right now. It's not something that you should be willing to give him. All right. You need to keep walking. "Oh, I just wanted to see what he looked like." Well, you know what? It doesn't matter what he looks like because what he's saying to you should be disgusted and be thinking, I don't want anything to do with a guy like that who's going to talk to me like that. Because if he's going to say it to you and you're going to turn around and you're going to traipse your cute little self over there, all right, he's definitely going to try to get some action from you. And if he can and you are willing, yeah, darn right he's gonna. Okay, because you just allowed him to, all because of lust, all because of what he was saying, and he's lusting after you and saying these inappropriate things to you, and then you're just running over there thinking like, oh, well, okay, look at him. He's kind of icky and gross, but um now that I do see him, and then sometimes girls date guys like that, and then they wonder why they're treated like crap. It's because the guy does not respect you because of you just coming over there, following suit, what everybody wants to do and whatever he said. So then you're thinking, well, he must like me or even love me because he's saying those things. No, that is not love. That is lust. Lust is definitely more in a sexual manner, and it's very self-gratifying, and it does not think of the other person. That is what lust does. Love, on the other hand, all right, is thinking of the other person. Those two do not go hand in hand. Love and lust does not go hand in hand with each other. So you want to definitely make sure that even the relationship that you're even in right now, okay, that it's not just extremely lustful, all right, because that's a very dangerous relationship to be in. It's definitely not going to last because if they're lusting and you're lusting after each other, you're probably still going to be taking that elsewhere to where you're going to be seeing other people because you have roaming eyes. Generally, someone who's very lustful, they don't just have those eyes for you, they have it for wherever and whoever is going to be around. And they're definitely going to be looking at other guys and other girls, and one that could be then leading to other things with them because they have not stopped that to put the brakes. Irks. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. So when I was talking about when you're watching things, you're seeing movies, you are listening to music, and you are putting that in to you because what you put in you reflects out of you. I got to tell you, just because you're a teenager doesn't mean that you don't know, because you do. And even little kids know. And sometimes they're so intrigued with, oh, look at them. They're kissing and they want to see those things because that's our normal nature is to be curious. And that's no difference than you as a teenager to be curious. But that doesn't mean that you need to be acting on all this curiosity. And it doesn't mean you need to be a scum sucking pig. All right, guys, or even you girls, that you need to be just trashy. Okay? You don't need to be that because where's the respect for yourself? So when you're listening to those lustful conversations and you're thinking, oh, it's making you feel good, it should not make you feel good about yourself. You need to be like, okay, what a scumbag, and he's a pig, and you need to get away from him. Even if it's your boyfriend right now, you might need to consider breaking up with that guy. Because if that's how he's going to talk to you and joke about sexual things all the time with you and say how great your body is and just constantly just be staring at you, and even though you might need to put some clothes on and the things that you're wearing are itty bitty teensy weensy beansy, it looks like they fit your kindergarten cousin, sister, neighbor, then maybe that could be why he's very lustful. All right. And he's like, man, I don't want to look at this. But there she is right in my face all the time. So then you're teasing him, and then he's hoping to be pleased by that and not just with his eyes. So you need to think about what you're wearing and what you're doing. So here's the thing, too. If little people in your life are coming up to you and saying, Um, I think your shirt is too small. And you kind of laugh about it, like, oh, no, it's not. It's supposed to be like that. And they're like, no, I think it's too small for you. That should be like a red flag for you. Okay. Like you should be thinking, oh, wow. All right. Maybe my shirt is a little too small for me, that this little person is actually saying that to me because they don't know. Like they're thinking, well, my shirts don't fit me like that. My shirts aren't that little. And then as they start going around you more, then they want to dress like you, don't they? They want to be like you because you are super awesome to them and they want to be just like you. So then when they're trying to wear clothes like you're wearing, then their mom's like, I don't think so. So you need to pay attention to that. And if they're even saying, do you have shorts under your dress? And you're like, no. And then they're thinking, well, I can see your panties. Well, yeah, them and probably everybody else can. So when you're thinking, well, gosh, okay, this is the way I dress. Well, maybe you need to put a few more clothing on under the dress. Okay. And then if you're dressing like that and then you don't like people looking at you in a manner of like, hoo hoo, ooh la la, then you need to think about what you're wearing. All right, ladies. Okay. And hey, I got something to say to the guys too, but just one moment. So, because when you do dress in itty bitty teensy weensy beansy things, okay, it's more than just little kids that see you, it's everybody that sees you. And sometimes girls are like, I just don't like them looking at me like that. Well, then put some clothes on. Okay. And then other girls do like people, anybody looking at them like that. But then sometimes they're like so disgusted. Oh my gosh, did you see that old man? He's all checking me out. Well, yeah, probably. Just because he's old, uh, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have lust for you, for the young one. So you definitely need to pay attention to what you're wearing. All right. And the same for guys. Yeah. Like I was just saying about those older women who were lusting after those guys in the itty bitty teensy weensy Speedo swim trunks in the Olympics. It's the same thing. Okay. Now, them, they can't be swimming in turtleneck and stuff. Yeah. They're swimming and it's the Olympics. They're not just traipsing around like that. But, the women are definitely checking it out and they're having a great time doing it. But that doesn't mean in other realms that guys don't need to pay attention also because the guys' shorts today, they're getting shorter all the time, aren't they? Yes, they are. And some of the girls, hey, you might be liking that. But see, it can be a lustful thing. So I recently seen this picture of my dad when he was in high school and playing basketball. And it's so stinking funny because in this picture, my dad, hey, he was pretty good. He was a pretty good ball player. And the two coaches in the picture on this side. So the one looking at the coach and like laughing is like, oh my gosh, that guy looks like he has like pajama shorts on, girl pajama flannel shorts on is what he looks like he has on. Or even that they are boxer shorts, as in underwear. Of course, I'm laughing. Oh my gosh, look at that guy. Glance over to the other side, because the two coaches are, on the two ends there. And the other guy, oh my golly, his shorts are even shorter. I was just laughing. Oh my gosh. I did not realize, well, because of course I wasn't born, that guys, their shorts were that short then. So, like the girls with the volleyball shorts, you know how they have to wear those black shorts like that and they're way tiny. And so many girls are like, why do we have to wear these? Why? Why? And they've complained several times about their shorts. That's like what that guy had on. Okay. So he was a grown man. He was like super giant too. So those were the shorts he had on. I was like, oh my golly. I didn't know they made spandex like that back then, but I do now. So it was super funny. So the guy wearing those, hopefully the guys aren't going to be wearing those kind of shorts because they were pretty tiny and tight and it was just super funny. Just because things are in style doesn't mean that you should be wearing it. So if you go to the store and that's all there is, maybe you need to shop online then and find something different because there's a lot more options and you don't have to be wearing things that are so itty bitty rinky dinky tiny just because it's there. Guys, I have a question for you. Would you want your mom to be wearing the same outfit that your girlfriend is wearing or the girls that you are checking out and lusting over? Would you want your mom to be dressing that way? So please let me know. I already know the answer. Heck no, you don't. But if you have an answer, something different, if you want to respond to that, please do. Okay? Because, yeah, you know what? I really do want to know what you think. I really do. I want to know what your responses are. So, yeah, most likely you don't want your mom dressing the same way. And she probably shouldn't be. But does that mean your girlfriend should? Okay? And I'm not saying your girlfriend needs to be, the girls, period, that they need to just be in a turtleneck all summer long. I'm totally not saying that either. You do want to dress appropriately. So if things are way too tiny and you're thinking, oh, I look pretty good. Hey, doesn't mean you don't. Doesn't mean you're not cute. Doesn't mean you don't look good. But it doesn't mean you should be wearing it. With the guys, some of the things that these guys are wearing, and the shorts are a little bit tiny, teensy weensy beansy. Uh, do you want your dad to be dressing that way? All right, guys, I have another question for you. Do you want your friends to be looking at your sister full of lust and thinking, man, look at your little sister, or even your big sister for that matter? Do you want your friends to be looking at your mom like that? So tell me what you think about that. Do you? And that's the same thing, girls. All right. If you have a brother or even a cousin, do you want your friends to be lusting after your brother? Because whether he's older or younger, hmm? Yeah, that's a great question, isn't it? Because maybe you have been that person that's been lusting after your friend's brother or the person who's been lusting after your friend's sister and making rude, icky comments. And then your friend wants to beat the crap out of you. Well, that's probably why. And they don't want you to come around anymore. Maybe you're not friends anymore because of the way you're talking about his sister. And here's a comment that guys will say, okay, and you let me know if this is true or not. I know how guys are. So when you have a girlfriend, when you have a sister, that's one of the statements, that's the comment that guys will make. So, hey, you let me know if that's true, okay? I know how guys are. I know what they say. I know what they think. And here's my question again. Another question to you. Are you one of those guys that you are saying, "Oh, I know how guys are," because are you that guy too? Are you the guy that thinks and is talking about girls inappropriately, that you are that guy that you are warning your mom about? Because you'd say that to your mom, not to your dad. You're not going to say, "Oh, I know how guys are." You don't say that stuff to your dad. You say it to your mom and you say it to your sisters. And they are like, "Oh, no, they're fine." Sometimes, right? Girls don't really know. They don't understand. And hey, that works the same way, guys. So when you have a sister in your life, uh, an aunt, your mom, okay, somebody in your life that's saying, "Oh, I know how girls are," okay, and it doesn't mean every single girl, all right, and it doesn't mean that every single guy is just rude or talking inappropriately about girls, all right. So it doesn't mean every single guy. Just because you're a guy doesn't mean that you talk that way and you think that way and that you are just a little hornball, okay. But hormones and emotions are real, baby. So if you have someone in your life that is a sibling, sister, brother, cousin, mom, dad, and they are saying to you, "Oh, I know how guys are. Oh, I know how girls are." They're trying to give you some words of wisdom. So, hey, I got to tell you, it's going to be wise of you to take heed to what they're saying. Again, it's not every single girl that's like that, every single guy that's like that. But if they're seeing things in this person that maybe you're dating or that you're talking to or that you're just hanging out with, pay attention to what they're saying because they're just trying to give you some words of wisdom. And it's wise of you, smart of you to listen to what they're saying and pay attention to what they're saying. And then maybe as you're hanging out with people that you're going to start seeing like, wow, okay. You know what? That is true, what they're saying. This person is like that. I totally understand what they're saying now and why they're saying it. The reason why they're saying it, your parents are saying these things, they're giving you these warnings, people in your life that might be older, or hey, it doesn't mean that you can't have a younger sibling or person in your life that's seeing something and they're trying to give you just some little bit of a words of wisdom, some hey, heads up here. It's not It's smart of you to actually listen. All right. Don't just be like, oh, well, you're young. You don't know what you're talking about. Or you're just my dad. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just my mom. That's so stupid. That's so dumb. Well, sometimes you know what your parents know what they're talking about. Sometimes they see things that you don't see. That's why you have parents. And that's why you should listen to them when they are trying to give you a heads up. So pay attention to that. Don't be foolish to be ignoring some of these signs because that's going to save you a lot of heartache in the end. Don't be one of those people, oh my golly, that has to learn everything the hard way. That's just dumb. Okay? That's just flat out dumb. All right? If you have really solid good parents and they're really giving you some direction, do not be dumb and don't not listen to them because you want to prove a point. Well, the point you're only proving is to yourself. And yeah, you might hurt your parents, but not near to the degree that you're going to hurt yourself. And that should be something that should sink into your cute little self there. All right. So those are just some things to think about. Okay. Just some things to think about. This is to help you in situations and what lust can do and the path it can take you on. So take heed to those warning signs and what I'm saying here. All right. So there's this movie. The dad in that movie finds his old basketball shorts and he puts them on. And of course, the daughter's like, oh my gosh, dad, please stop wearing those shorts. So he's out there playing basketball in his old high school shorts. Girls, would you want your dad to be wearing some of the things that the guys are wearing today? So you might be thinking, hoo, well, look how hot he looks, and he looks pretty fine. Do you want your dad to be dressing that way? Do you want even your friends to be lusting after your dad? Because that definitely is something, isn't it? That girls do. Oh my gosh, I do want to go to your house. Your dad is so hot. So this isn't just like guys saying those things. This is definitely guys and girls. How many times with youth activities that they're very concerned about what the girl's going to be wearing? Hey, no two-piece bathing suits, and make sure that you have a shirt over your swimming suit. And hey, maybe if you want to put some shorts on, like this is how they're saying for the girls. But they're forgetting that, hey, guess what? The girls like to check out the guys too. The girls are just as lusting after guys because I have seen that. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to go to this activity because this guy's going to be there and he's going to have his shirt off. I cannot wait to go and see that. But they forget, then the guys with his shirt off, and sometimes so are the leaders because they're not even thinking that what it's doing to the girls, that the girls are actually looking at them. They're just concerned about, well, we don't want to be triggering these thoughts for the guys. Well, what about the trigger for the girls? Because that's there also, and that's real. So just want to be saying that, okay? I just want to throw that out there. And that just to remind you that, hey, this isn't just for guys, and this isn't just about girls, but it's definitely just about people. And this isn't just about teenagers. And even though this is the Talking to Teens show, this is about people, period. But the sooner you can put the whammy on what you're looking at and your thoughts and how like lust is actually a thing. And now that you are hearing this, and now maybe you can be like, wow, okay, what do I do about it, Shawna? So, once again, I'm glad you asked because here are some things that you can do about it. And one of the things is like, wow, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be looking at them like that. I don't want to do that. So, that's the first thing. You have to make that decision that you don't want that to be who you are. And if it has been you, you need to be thinking that. But that's the first thing. If you don't care and you're like, it's not a big deal, Shauna, I don't know why you're acting like that. Well, it can be. And two, you really shouldn't just be so lustful after people. You can, guess what? Close your eyes, can't you? And then when I'm saying that, it doesn't mean that you close your eyes to be envisioning the scenario. So no, 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 no. You don't close your eyes for that. You close your eyes because you're going to be thinking, I'm not going to look at that. That's why you close your eyes, and that's why you turn your head. You don't close your eyes to have a moment to yourself to envision anything. All right? So that's what you do. Close your eyes. I'm not going to look at it. You turn around, you go the other way. You maybe tell the person that you're with, girlfriend, boyfriend, you know what? I don't know. I think maybe you need to maybe put something else on. Okay. Now don't be like saying it in the jealous, controlling way. You need to get up there and you need to change your clothes. All right. No, because she's gonna be like, no, I'm not doing that. And you should not be like that. You're not her dad. You are in a relationship with her. She already has a dad, and maybe she doesn't, but you're not him. Okay. So if you're dating someone and that's how you are and you're being so super controlling, you need to not do that. Not be like that. But you can say, hey, uh, I I actually need you to wear a different shirt because, all right. And if she's like, why? I don't know. It's like, well, because I feel like what you have on is a little inappropriate for me. Okay. Because if you're going to be seeing it, right, everybody else is going to be seeing it too. And a lot of times, girls, they might dress that way, but then they're super uncomfortable. And this is how you know, because where are their arms? Their arms are crossed and they're just like holding, over their stomach. They're uncomfortable. So if you are super uncomfortable, hey, ladies, you don't have to wear that just because your friend is. You can put something different on that you do feel comfortable in. And really, and I'm not saying go change into something that's itty bitty teensy weensy beansy, all right? Because you're like, well, I am pretty comfortable in this. So, and I like pretty darn good. So, no, just really pay attention to that. Really think about what I'm saying here because you shouldn't want to be triggering lustful thoughts in someone. It doesn't mean you can't look cute. It doesn't mean that you're not cute, but you do need to pay attention to how you're presenting yourself to someone else, whether you're in a relationship or whether you're not. And because you just want to get that attention, because sometimes you are then asking and gravitating the wrong attention. All right. So, and I'd say it doesn't mean that that doesn't happen for guys, but it's a lot more for girls than it is for guys. And sometimes it puts a girl in a really bad position and situation that she did not bargain for and she was not looking for and did not want to happen. So, girls, really, I hope you really take heed to what I'm saying. All right. And again, I'm not saying you can't dress cute and look cute in whatever you're wearing. Just really pay attention. Okay. Pay attention to the motives as well of what your motives are just because it's out there and that's the style. What are your motives? What is it that you're trying to even trigger in your boyfriend or just other people that are around you and wherever it is that you are at? What is your motive? Because sometimes, girls really, they just don't even know. They don't think about it. And sometimes they don't have parents telling them, like, I don't think you should be wearing that. And sometimes they do have parents saying those things, and then they go and they bring it with them anyway, or they have it under their other clothing, and the parents don't know that that's what they're wearing. And they're like, wow, when did you get that shirt? So pay attention, ladies, because your parents, you know what, generally have your best interest. So when they're telling you, I think those shorts are a little bit too short, you need to put something else on. I think that shirt is showing a little too much of your finer qualities. So you need to put something else on. Your parents have your best interest. All right. So you should not be mad and think that that's dumb. You should be like, okay, thanks, dad. Thanks, mom, and go change and put something different on and not be all offended about it. So that's just some little words of wisdom there for you. And like I said, that's not generally so much the case for guys, but guys can wear super tight shirts all the time because they want the attention, but that's not generally going to be the same. A girl can, yes, definitely be lustful after a guy, and she might then be willing to, in the midst of lustful desires, she may be willing to give up herself to that because of that. But her situation is not going to be the same as a guy's situation because the guy's a lot stronger than her. So it's not going to necessarily be, of course, the same situation to where he will have his way with her because he's thinking, well, that's the way you're dressing. So that's what you want from me. And it doesn't mean she does because no, more than likely she does not. All right. So, but a guy is going to be a lot stronger when a girl, if she's lusting after a guy and does want to have a sexual relationship with him, it's not going to be the same. Okay? So I hope you're understanding what I'm saying and I hope I'm coming across in the right way to be saying that because lustful thoughts can lead to lustful actions. Those actions are actions that don't give a rip about that person. All they care about, all the lust cares about is itself, the self gratification. This is what I want, and this is how I want to get it. And I don't care about that other person. And then once usually they have that, they're done. It's over. Had that. That was fun. That was enough of that. Later, and I'm out of here, and I'm on to the next thing. That's generally what lust is. And if you are in a dating relationship and it's extremely lustful, you need to really back off and you need to really be like, oh, okay, um, this is maybe a little bit too dangerous because that's not love. All right. That is absolutely not love. So maybe in another show, I will talk a little bit more about what love is. Right. But that's not love. All right. So we'll see. That will be probably coming up. So other things you can do, of course, like I said, you can turn away, close your eyes, not look at that, and even say, hey, I really feel like I need you to maybe put something different on because I don't want to be looking at you like that. Other things you can do is, especially if it's a movie, you know what, guess what? Turn it off. All right. If you're with somebody, you can get up and say, I'm not going to watch that. I don't want to see that. You can get up and say that. You can listen to music. You can pay attention to that and you can say, change your station or take that off your playlist or tell somebody else like, hey, I don't really want to hear that song. I really want to hear that kind of music like that. So you need to stand up. You need to, and not be afraid to stand up and speak up. So people know what you're talking about, or they know where your boundaries are, or they know where you stand. Okay. Because you can't just sit there in silence and be like, well, just this quiet person and not say anything because you don't want to make anyone mad. Well, sometimes if they get mad, then that's on them because what are your boundaries? Who are you wanting to be? When you entertain lust, that definitely grows. All right. That's not something that just leaves you. It's because you have to do something about it. And sometimes people have lust. They're lusting after money. They're lusting after power. So they're lusting after something that's going to like fulfill them, but for the moment. All right. Because once they get that, then it's done and it's over. And then what's the next thing? Where it's almost that they become very like obsessed with it. That's what lust can do, is just make you super obsessed. That's not a great quality that you should be thinking of and that you should be thinking that you want. So those are things that you can do. And then, hey, if you do know Jesus, not just this Christian thing, not just because you go to church on Sunday, not because maybe you go to your youth group every now and then, hey, it needs to be who you are. All right. Not just because you show up there, not because your parents make you go and they drag you there and they make you go to the youth group and they make you go to church, make you sit there on Sunday and you seriously, you don't give a rip, but then you consider yourself a Christian. And people think that you're a Christian because you go to church. You know, none of that matters. It really doesn't, because it's a heart thing. It truly is a heart thing. And what are you going to do about that? Because only you can. So it's not enough for you to go to church, because who cares? Who cares? Because God knows your heart and he sees you. So who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Someone who's just so lustful and you're going to give into those desires of that side of us, you, the sinful nature, okay? And even though you might hear these terms, you're like, okay, whatever, lady, this is dumb, and you just want to turn off the show now. Hey, that's fine. You can, right? You can. But when I speak to those people who, you know, like I said, say they know Jesus, well, do you? Because do your actions show that you know Jesus? Do your actions speak louder when you're saying you're a Christian, you go to church, you know, or even that they already know that? Or are your actions that of exactly the same as the people that maybe you don't really want it to be like? Because only you can change you, but you got to let God do it too. So where are you in that? You know, hey, because I'd love to know that too. Because where are you in your Jesus walk and your Jesus talk, especially if you do go to church? Have you even accepted Jesus? And maybe you have, but you've put him on that shelf behind you. And because you want to be living life and doing your own thing, well, you know, that is going to catch up to you someday. Hey, you're young now. And this is the time to actually serve God and really know who you are in Christ, not just say that you go to church. It's really time to find who you are. And if you've had those lustful thoughts and these actions, and you're even, hey, maybe sexually active, which I'm still going to do a show on this. I really want it to be a live show so that people can actually message in and have questions asked and answered there on the spot. So I might do a recorded show and then eventually do a live show because I just really want to do one for sure live to answer your questions that you may have. But again, if this is something that you've struggled with, you definitely need to do something about it so that you're not like 50 years old and you're still like that. And whether you're married or not, because just because you get married, it doesn't mean that if you've been lusting and that it just goes away. Sometimes it becomes who you are because you're constantly checking out people in a sexual manner. So I'm going to tell you this quick story. So when I was younger, of course, not married to my super fantastic honey, I went on this date with this guy because his mom was begging me to go on this date with her son. Oh my gosh, you would really like my son. He's so wonderful. You just really need to go on a date with him. You just really need to, really she wanted me to marry him, pretty much. She just kept saying that. Oh my gosh, you would love him. He's just such a great guy. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. All right. I'm like, no way. I do not want to date your son. I don't even know who he is. He doesn't know who I am. I do not want to go on a date. So however it happened, because she was very persistent, definitely. I loved her. She was a great person. So then I ended up meeting her son, going on this date. All right. Oh my golly. I got to tell you, he was definitely a pig. I couldn't even stand it. It was just so gross. So we're on this date, and he's constantly telling me that he wants to have sex with me. Like, what? Ew. And I'm like, well, you know what? I don't want to have sex with you. See, he's lusting after me. He's totally lusting after me. And he's like, well, what do you mean you don't want to have sex? Well, yeah. I said, and I'm not having sex with you. I don't even know you. You don't even know me. Like, why would you want to have sex with me? So he's sitting there telling me, oh, well, you have this great body. That's not enough. Sorry, buddy. That is not enough for me to want to have sex with you. He's like, well, don't I look good? And it's like, well, yeah, you look fine. I wasn't lusting after him by any means because instantly the fact that he is acting like that, no, no, I don't think so. That is not happening. So the whole time we're on this date, that's what he keeps talking about. So needless to say, we definitely did not continue to date because I'm like, ew, no, that's not happening. That's just my point though. The lust that was there was disgusting. And he was hoping that I would have the same. And no, I did not. And here's what I want to say about that too. It's okay for you to think that people are attractive. Okay. That's not the same thing that you're lusting, that you see someone, wow, you know what? She is so beautiful. That's not the same thing as like, oh yeah, now she is beautiful. And you're thinking these other things. And you think he's great looking, however it is that you want to say. That is fine. That is okay for you to be thinking that stuff in that regard. Okay. But that's not the same thing as you lusting after them. But when you see people that are attractive, you see that they're very beautiful, you see that they're nice looking, all of those things, that's okay. That's okay for you to think that and to see that and to acknowledge their beauty and to acknowledge that they are attractive. The lust comes in is when you start thinking the sexual things about that person and what you want to be doing with that person, like me being on that date with that guy, the scum sucking pig. Okay, that's what I say. All right, and no, I absolutely was not going to have sex with him because that was icky, gross, and that's the difference. He wasn't just thinking, oh, you know what, you're very beautiful. He wasn't just thinking that. His was lust. So that is the difference compared to just thinking that someone is attractive. So it's the lust that gets you into positions, that places that maybe that you don't want to be. And hey, some people do want to be that, right? Some people do want to have that. See, like that guy, he didn't know one thing about me, but yet he was willing to indulge in his lustful desires and think that I was going to do the same. Absolutely not. And then I was thinking, wow, does your mom even know that you're such a pig? That's actually what I was thinking. Like, wow, your poor mom, she's thinking you're just great guy. And man, my son is so wonderful. She really does not know who her son is. Is that even the case for you? That your parents think that you're this person and they're like, oh, I really have a great son. My daughter's pretty great. And I'm not saying that you're not. I'm not saying that you're not a good person, all those things. But when you let lust control you and you let lust be the driving factor in your life, no, that is not good. Okay. Like I said, and that can lead you down a path that you that you shouldn't want to be on. So I just want to say that and just leave you with that lovely story. And I do want you to think about this. Think about the things that were said. If you want to listen to the show again, of course you can. And if you want to share this show with someone that maybe needs to hear it, please do. And I will definitely be seeing you in the next show. I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see you in the next Talking to Teen show.